Dear friends, welcome to new chess video course I made with my friend Grandmaster Evgeny Romanov for Modern Chess website. We analyzed Stonewall pawn structure, which usually arises from different popular openings like Catalan, Queen's Indian defense, Dutch defense. In this video, I will present you most popular structures of this opening, and I'll show you typical plans for both sides. If you will be interested in this material, you can contact me for Evgeny course, and I'll be happy to share it with you. Let's start our lecture. Let's start from this classical pawn structure. We have classical Stonewall position in this diagram, and black controls e4 square. We have a lot of pawn chains on the board. I want to mention that all black's pawns are located on the light squares, and the dark squares are extremely weak, and the black should hold this. Also, in this pawn structure, this bishop on c8 usually is very passive, and black wants to um, develop it this way. We have this classical maneuver: bishop d7, bishop e8, bishop h7, bishop h5, or after b6 and bishop b7, or bishop to a6. Now let's check typical pawn structures which arise from this one. The following pawn structure arises in case of exchange of the bishops on f4. Yeah, this pawn structure seems to be very unpleasant for black because the pawn on e6 is super weak. White can improve his heavy pieces to double up this over the e file and to attack this pawn. Also, black's knight cannot be placed on e4 because white can attack it after f3. In my opinion, black doesn't have any good counterplay in this pawn structure, and white can improve his position in the center with attack on the weak pawn on e6, or this classical plan of attack on the queen side. The next pawn structure arises after exchange on f4 if white takes with the g pawn. This pawn structure is more promising for black because black can deliver his heavy pieces, rook to h6, queen to h4, with some chances to create threats to the white's king. On another side, white will try to organize new weaknesses using his space advantage. For example, after b4, b5, we'll take on c6, and will try to use this weak pawn in the middle game. On the following diagram, we see the position with white's pawns on e3 and f3. White can try to organize the break in the center after e4, or white can prepare the king side activity after g4, h4, with some chances to attack on the king side. Black can usually meet this plan with his counterplay on the queen side, like c5 or dc4 and then b5. Another interesting pawn structures arise after white's exchange on d5. In case of cd5, ed5, we have slightly unusual version of Carlsbad pawn structure, and black has the problem with e5 square. It's very weak because of the pawn on f5. White can try to use this pawn for advance after b4, b5 to organize the weakness on c6. Black usually has counterplay in the center against the e pawn, or black can try to advance his pawns on the king side with idea to start an attack against the white's king. After cd5, cd5, we have the pawn structure, which is very similar to exchange Slav defense. with the black pawn on f5. Once again, this square is weak, and in such positions, both sides fight for control over the c file. White has a typical plan of advanced response to grab more space. And later, I saw many classical games. Then White improved his position on the king side. Of course, there are other popular pawn structures which can arise from classical Stonewall system, and all of this you can find in our course. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next videos.